I was just thinking about the time I was hard-headed. Thought it was right all along, I was missing. All these weight on my back, feeling so heavy. These boys claim they won't walk no more. I had to make cake for the boy cause he glad with it. I was so focused on the top and I'm still in it. They try to provoke me to stop, no I won't, damn it. They want me go back to the block, no, no, no. I done gained a whole lot of more ops now I'm home. Niggas knows all of mine, don't know how to mind their own. 23 and 1, how you feel when you alone? That's no wrong, talk to you, telling you you gone. Only I didn't cry cause it's feeling for my bro. And you know my mind, you don't watch that nigga grow. Know you hear the lies, it's your little brother my fault. Yeah, I had copped out, but don't let them say I told. No, I ain't you little boys, I'ma show you that I'm grown. Bulletproof the big toys, let me show you how we roll. Old niggas in my business, had to tell them tap their nose. You wet niggas can't get with this, I'm 100 for sure. 100 for sure. I was just thinking about this shit I could've bought. Can't afford shit till I make it on the board. Lot of shit I did, niggas wasn't there to say I start. I never crossed lines, all I did was play my part. I ain't signed for a dime till my name I had a quarter. Just to like 25 and then have it all in order. Niggas think I'm die, they don't know that I'm immortal.
Damn, you supposed to catch that.
But I'm bad like Eddie Carter. I just been getting high, I don't never wanna be sober. She said she gon' ride, so I got her to be old. Ain't gonna get wise, so don't ever think it's over. We done cut out the ties and I gave her the push shoulder. I swear it's like emoji. Back then it's been on and I know it's been a minute. Bought a new one. I get stuck. Show me Lord knows I gotta get it. I tell you this time around, they gon' hate it when they missed it. They gon' hate it when they missed it. Young gun on one that back calling me splurge. Let me jump right off the curb. Make this sprint fly like a bird. Spin on the first and the third. Solid, I'm keeping my word. Can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard. Crack up the phone and I swerve. Keep me a stick if they purr. Young gun on one that they working my nerves. I'm about to pull us a serve. Fucking this bitch like a perm. Smack from the back of a perm. Ice.
The bird. Shitting on all you little turds.
Can't take that dick way she turn. In my own lane we can merge. So with no hands you can learn. Let's see how much you can earn. Why me go big like the worm? And I ain't smoking no shirt. I'm in the BVP lit. QP ski. I love it, bitches with me. They showing their titties and stuff to the ceiling. Holla, I'ma do a million. I rock with a really. Let's fuck on a billion. I'ma get down to the gritty, then fuck up the city, the home of the villains. Ecstasy, wonderful feeling. Smoke out the pound and I'm chillin'. Trappin', I made me a killer. Look, I got everybody wishing.
Don't typically like orange fruits. Taco Bell breakfast. Nothing too wild, just delicious.
Let me get into this.
Why'd you say you happy, Morris?
My team won the draft. Why would I not be happy? We got a top 5 prospect at number 20. I mean, I don't know what kind of man that is, but yeah, we definitely won the draft. So it's a good day to be a Houston fan. I don't have to OKC. You guys aren't seeing me, especially not for now. I And then Thompson, that's who I was hoping for. We get him. Cam Whitmore, who I thought was going to go 5 to Detroit, ends up dropping to 20.
Wow.
I mean, it's a good day. It's a very good day. I'm just a happy guy today.
Okay. The sun is shining over there in the UK. That's good to know. But you think you guys definitively won, or yeah? Chill, you thinking that?
Yeah. I don't know who else could have. I don't know who else could have won. I mean, if you want to say the Spurs won because they got the number 1 pick, cool. But we won. We won the draft.
To get Cam at 20, they weren't even prepared for that. I'm sure of it. I'm sure Houston, when they saw him dropping, were like, there's no way he's gonna fall at 21 to us. There's no way that's gonna happen. And when he drops to like 19, and then they pass on him at 20, Houston, they probably erased everybody on their board. This is our guy. There's no way that we're not gonna take him. And the rap on him was his workouts didn't go very well, and he didn't interview well. Well, that doesn't really hold a lot of weight with me because there's plenty of guys who don't interview well, but they do great on the job. So a guy like Cam Whitmore, who is probably the most physical guy of all these young guys, he's probably the most physical guy in the draft. He's got one of the best upsides. I thought he fit perfect in Detroit with Ivy and Cunningham. I was like, there go your small forward right there. That's your 3-man right there. For them to pass on him. Now, I understand that I keep getting his name wrong. Asua, is that how you say his name? Asar, I'm sorry. Asar, he looks like he can be something special, but when I see Cam, when I see Whitmore, number one, his body, he looks pro ready. I could start and stop the conversation right there. He looks like from day one, he's stepping on the floor, and he doesn't look like a project. He doesn't look like somebody that we gotta bring him along slowly. He looks like somebody that you can throw out there immediately. And for him to drop to 21 when we're talking about a projected top 5 pick, to be honest with you, Mars, and you probably don't watch American football, but I got Dan Marino vibes when I was watching this. Like, is this dude, is he gonna drop this far? There's no way that this dude is gonna drop this far, and there's no way Houston is passing on him. No way.
I knew. Yeah, Ron said it in the group chat. He calls to Houston. There's no way we're passing. I knew.
No way.
If Golden State didn't take him, the Lakers didn't take him, and I forgot he was at 18. If they didn't take him, yeah, Miami and they took that guy. They took that guy. Yeah, they took that guy who I don't know. So sorry, I may have his. I don't know.
He can play.
You don't know how to play? I
I
like that pick for
He can play. Mm-hmm.
But I knew the moment that Golden State took Brandon Podziemski, I was like, okay, there we go. We put Cam Whitmore and we won the draft. Even if you don't think Houston won the draft, we can all agree technically. Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston, they all just won it. Like they probably had the 3 best draft all in Texas.
That's fair. That's fair. I can give that.
Texas won the draft. And I need someone to explain to me the Wizards. I'm gonna ask you guys on that. They had the 8th pick. Indiana wanted Jarvis Walker at 7, but then they just swapped picks for no reason when they could just go who they wanted originally. It doesn't make sense. If the Wizards wanted Bilal Coulibaly at 8, and Indiana had the 7th pick, and they wanted Jarvis Walker, couldn't Indiana have just taken Jarvis Walker, and then the Wizards just got Bilal Coulibaly at 8 anyway? I don't get why they added 2nd round picks to the trade. Someone has to explain.
I think it's more. I think it's more compensation than anything, Mars. So if you can imagine, you borrowing money from me. Well, it's interest. I'm not just going to give you $20 and you just give me back $20. So if the guy that they're drafting, I am doing you a favor by drafting this guy, right? I'm doing because I know you want this guy. I'm doing you a favor by drafting this guy. In the process of me doing you a favor, I would like to be compensated. Whenever I see stuff like this, I always think about Antoine Walker and Vince Carter, where you like a guy, I just don't like him at this number right here. So Luka was at 5. I think Luka was picked at 5, and Atlanta wanted Trey. They just didn't like him at 5. I mean, they just didn't like him at 4. So they pick him here. I'll take your guy, you take my guy, and we'll swap picks. In the process of us swapping picks, me doing you a favor, you end up compensating me later on for it.
It's weird too. I don't get it. Someone in the chat said that if you get drafted higher, you end up paying more. So that would explain it. But the Washington Wizards, Bilal Coulibaly were drafted first, and Washington have him, which means they're paying him more, and they gave up the second round picks to get him. So once again, that wouldn't make sense based on that idea. So to me, you just gave up second round picks to get someone you could have got at 8 anyway. So I'm just confused.
He's like that, bro.
I don't mind because my team won the draft, so that doesn't even matter. As long as we know that Houston, we're going to be in the playoffs.
I would like to
I'm
hear
on
everybody
that,
else's
bro. We
opinions
can't
on the
break
draft,
that up.
because I actually have a team outside of Texas that won the draft.
I don't know who won the draft. I'll tell you one thing though, right? I didn't like that move from Portland. I feel like that was petty and it was uncalled for. I feel like it was spiteful. For them to do that.
Do what, big ass? Wait,
They took Chris Murray.
At 23, because they played Chris Murray at 23, knowing that they don't want him. They didn't want him. They just didn't want us to have him. I think that was malicious. I think that was a little malicious. A little vindictive, if you will.
With that being said, do want to talk about Portland's haul as well. They got obviously Scoot at 3. They got Chris Murray, and then in the second round they got Ryan Rupert. I think that was a good haul from them as well. Chill, you were about to say something though?
The kid that you were talking about, Mars, I believe it was the kid from UCLA. Hami, yeah. Well, he can play. Yeah, he can play. He was on that. I believe he was on that crew. They went to the Final Four, so he's going to be good. Now, the kid that you're not aware of, I keep getting his last name wrong, that they just got from Santa Clara. He went. Yeah, I keep getting his name wrong. Well,
he's good. He's good. I like Santa Clara players. So.
He was a late invite, right? So nobody ended up getting kicked out or anything like that, but he was a late invite. He's going to really help the Golden State Warriors. So the Warriors are the ones who drafted him, right? Yeah. I want to make sure I got that right. So when I saw him, I thought to myself, like, Ty Jerome set better. That's who I thought about when I thought about him, because Ty Jerome coming out of college, talking about a kid who played an integral part on the University of Virginia winning the national championship. He was big time on that crew, getting on that Golden State Warriors team. It just didn't translate. This dude actually is a better player than him, and he's going to do what Ty Jerome should have done. I think he's a better ball handler. I think he's a better shooter. I think he's better in transition. So he could be better for them than what Ty Jerome was when I saw him. But I want to address the elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room is Damian Lillard.
He's gone.
Can we just stop already, man? Like we don't do this with any other superstars. Listen, you got the young guy. You got everything that you're gonna get out of Damian Lillard. We're going into year 12. It's not like we're going into year 3 or year 4 where there's something left. You had an opportunity to build a championship unit around this dude in 12 seasons, and this is where we are. So what you do is you get a lottery pick. The reason why you get a lottery pick, because you're garbage, and you draft a guard who plays his position. In the process of him playing his position, what you're going to do is we're going to hold on to Dame and see if these two guys work. No, you're not. Let's move off Dame and move on with these two guys, with both Scoop and Simons. These guys are the future. Now, what I don't have a problem with, I'll have a problem with Scoop sitting behind Dame for a season or even a half the season. I don't have a problem with him doing that and learning the game. But let's not act like getting Scoop. Okay, let's see if this works. You've done everything that you're going to do. Everything that you could possibly do for Damian Lillard with the Portland Trailblazers, you've already done it. And this is where we are. So it's time to either, if you're going to hold on to him, you're holding on to him simply because he's a vet, or move on from him. What are we still doing?
He has to be gone. Like, there's no way you take 2 guards. I know one was in the second round, but you take 2 guards. One of them is, in my opinion, the second best prospect in the draft. He's 6'2". You've seen how a small backcourt has worked in the past with Damian when we had CJ next to him. That wasn't great. So there's no way Portland is saying that they think this is going to work if they have a rookie point guard playing next to Damian Lillard, who's also a point guard. There's no way they are that incompetent. And if they are, just give Seattle a team and get rid of Portland. I'm sorry, they don't deserve a franchise that team.
Give Seattle a team no matter what. But Damo, how do you feel about Scoop going number 3? And what's up with you? How you living today?
It was a long night last night.
Why? Because the Lakers traded their pick?
Nah, not even that.
Because they didn't get James Najee, that's right.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I wasn't expecting him to go as low as he went, but I didn't think, even with him going as low as he went, when I seen Cam Whitmore there, I'm like, there's no way we pass on Cam.
and we go J Hood. And I'm not mad, and it's like I want to be mad we didn't get Cam Whitmore, but J Hood is not a bad player. He's not a bad guy. I'm not mad at the pick. I wanted to go big, but he wasn't going to go big. I can't be mad at J Hood. I'm surprised, but a couple things surprised me. In terms of who did the best, a lot of teams did great. A lot of teams addressed issues. A lot of teams did what they're supposed to do. But it was some teams that just had me scratching my head like, why are we doing this? Oh yeah, and the LKIB Jim game last night kicked my ass. Yo, shout out to everybody that was there. Oh yeah, it was a rough one. First thing first, to me, I don't know what the Pistons are doing. Personally, I don't know what the Pistons, because I want to say the Thompsons when they got, okay, you can get away with putting him at the 3. I don't think that's where he's going to be the best use. I think he's going to be a 2. I think his on-ball skills is definitely underrated because he's playing next to his brother who was dominant on ball. So I feel like he does have better on-ball skills than people will give him credit for. Despite what scouts say, I think his on-ball skills will be better than people think. So putting him at the 3 ain't going to work. I think putting him at the 2 will be better. And that team, and they also drafted, I want to say,
they got your boy.
What you call it? What, in the first round?
They got your boy.
They got James Nudge, but I think he's going to Boston. I think.
Yeah, he is. They traded him to Boston.
They did?
Yeah,
they have no use for him. They have Jalen Duren, who's basically the same guy.
Yeah, that's why it was a head scratcher.
And
I didn't see that they traded him to Boston.
That's what the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies traded their pick. They made a trade with the Grizzlies, and they got another guard.
They got Marcus Sassi.
Yeah, they got a small guard. So I'm like, okay, so now you draft 2 guards essentially on top of the 2 guards you already have. That is your future. I don't know how that's about to work now in terms of the guy they got to lay around. Yeah, Killian Hayes is 100% gone. 100%. He's 100% out of there. The guy you got at 25, you can get away with having him as a backup guard if he's a Tyus Jones as guard. That's fine. But the Thompson twins, if you think you're about to play him at the 3, unless Cade is just getting big off of veggies, and you're gonna put Cade at the 3, I don't know how those 3 are about to work. He's in the top 5 pick when they got him off the bench. That's kind of crazy to me. Like I don't know how that's about to go. So they surprised me. The Pacers kind of surprised me a little bit. They did relatively better than I thought they would do with those picks. They did pretty solid. Yeah, the Trailblazers are idiots. I said this when they were willing to blow up the team 3 times around Dame and still could put some useful around them. They're idiots. But I will say this: if Dame is vocally saying he don't want to go, I mean, at that point, I don't know.
Well, here's the problem I'm having.
I don't care if you don't want to go. You have to.
Hold on. You don't, because at the end of the day, this is a business. Everyone can sit there and talk about, oh man, we gotta start pushing towards the future and do this and rebuild and all. If they want to sell these jerseys, they gonna keep Dame there.
Right, I get that part.
They
I do get that part
can
now.
sell Scoot Henderson jerseys.
I do get that.
Not like Dame. I agree.
I'm not trying to get liked. I'm trying to get this money. And the money that they're getting from having a star player, superstar, or talent, whatever you want to say, the point guard around Damian Lillard, they don't want to give that up. And I'm not mad at them because, again, this is a business at the end of the day. He don't want to go. They don't want him to go. I'm washing my hands with it because I'm going to wait until the middle of the season. When you get that tweet, you know the tweet coming. Oh, do I got to do it by myself? He's just going to cry again. And we're going to the same cycle.
That's the problem I'm having, Damo. That's the problem that I'm having right there. Because to be clear, he is box office, right? He is the ticket seller. His name, the moniker. He's on the tickets. That's him, 100%. So he is the moneymaker. That part I can get with. But it's like talking, I don't mean you, Damo, specifically, but it's like you talking out of both sides of your mouth. I don't want to leave, but I don't want to be a part of a rebuild. I don't want to leave, but I don't want to be a part of a youth movement. Wait a minute, which one is it? You know, I don't want to get married, but I don't want to break up. I don't want to get. It just sounds like it's double talk to me. So, at some point, we have to get to the bottom of what are we going to do with this guy? Once again, he's been on the crew for 12 years. And in the 12 years that he's been on the crew, they've been to the conference finals 1 time. The best opportunity that
because I've been losing lately, bitch. Shut up.
Which was when they got smoked in the
lock in.
conference finals. They didn't. In fact, they brought the same crew back. Everybody else in the Western Conference has gotten better. And they've gotten worse. Since then, they haven't been back there. They haven't sniffed anything like that. Damian Lillard, broken down. This season, I thought he played himself back into the top 10, or at least into the conversation. But his value is still really high, which means that you can get something for him. So this youth movement, you can continue that by getting draft picks. Now, I understand that the money has to match up, but also getting draft picks. Because there's no way that we're going to have Damian, that we're marching out, that we're selling Damian Lillard, that you and Scoop are going to be the difference this year in us winning an NBA championship, or at least competing for an NBA championship. You're going to get back Jeremy Grant. He's going to get back into the fold. But we still finished in 9th place last year with that. And I didn't even bring up Simons, who I think is better. I think he's better than Scoop right now. But with that being said, what is the deal with Damian Lillard? Are you holding on to him, or are you moving off him? Because you're obviously not
Getting
building.
dominated, bro.
You're not doing that with him there. You're not.
This is disgusting.
I agree with everything you said. I think it makes sense to move off a Dame. I think it makes sense to start over. I think it makes sense to move forward with the future. That makes perfect sense. The Blazers are not a sensible team at this point. They're just not going to make sense. And I came to agree with it. I came to the terms. Last summer, when Dame signed big money, when Bradley Beal signed big money, I said, you know what? Some guys just don't want to win. Some guys want their money. They want their happiness. They got life outside of basketball. I said, you know what? That's fine. Don't get the tweeting. Don't get the tweeting you want to win if you want to sign these trash teams and complain. That's all I said. I said, I'm good with y'all saying. I won't call y'all losers. Don't come in the middle of the season when you're on a 20-game losing streak saying, woe is me, where's my help? Because you know where you're at. When Bradley Beal did it, I lost my mind. I'm like, bro, you signed for $50 million a year, and you about to tweet out in the first 3 weeks of the season? You're not happy? You were happy when you signed. Why are you not happy now? You knew where you were signed. You've been here. That's the one thing I don't like. But with Dame is very consistent. The only time it gets crazy is when the league gets crazy for some reason. The only time Dame's name is really like when he shows that he might have an issue with the process in Portland is when Bradley Beal gets to Phoenix. When Chris Paul is traded to the Warriors. When crazy moves happen and Dame is looking like, all right, where's my help? Y'all traded away the second best guy I played with in my career. Y'all traded CJ away. Y'all will make moves to get guys out of here. Where's the moves to get guys in here? So that I can get by. I can let that slide with him complaining. Well, not even complaining, but voicing his concern because everybody else is moving. You watching everybody else move, and my team that I'm being loyal to a fault at this point. He can see this. He has the same Twitter we have. He has the same timeline we have. He hears the same ESPN versus stage and all that we see. He sees these shows. Everyone is on his neck every time a team moves. He sees all these teams that can move. His team doesn't, but he's going to tell the media, he's going to tell the public, he'll tell his fans, hey man, I'm loyal to the core. They gave me a shot when they didn't have to, so I'm loyal to them. It's the same thing Giannis was saying about the Bucks until he's unhappy. It's the same thing a lot of these guys with loyalty will say. But when it comes to the Blazers, I'm done with it. I don't care. I don't like Dame enough to care. I definitely don't like the Blazers. So I can detach myself from the situation.
Yo, fellas, we'll continue to talk more about Dame. We'll continue to talk more about Scoop. We're obviously going to talk about Chris Paul and his new landing spot and Jordan Poole. We want to talk about who really won the draft. You guys know we're going to hear from Ticket next. Also, I got a crazy start bench cut, if you will, from number 1 picks. But before I do that, I just want to mention that the show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can see in the top right. Brought to you by. What is Underdog Fantasy? It's an app where you can make up to 20 times the money that you put into it. How can you do that? Well, you just choose a player for that day. Choose the stats that they're projected to go for that day. And you go higher or lower. It's fairly simple. You can choose from 2 to 5 players. They have a game called Pick'em. And in that Pick'em game, well, that's where you can win a good deal of cash. So go ahead and download the app. You can see the link right at the top of our chat. When you click that link into the promo code the panel, and voila, you'll be able to win all the money that you could think of or dream of. Now, with that being said, Ticket, are you present? You here? You
yeah, I'm just waiting till I'm spoken to.
Well, hello. How's it
what
going
up, Ticket?
What's good?
You have anything pressing right now, Ticket, that you need to get off your chest?
No, like I said, I'm gonna change my whole style over here because it seemed to be an issue with a lot of people. So I'm gonna give the people what they want. I don't really have too much to say. I thought the Cavs won the draft. Thought they got a dude that was projected to be a lottery pick a few years ago. They went and got him in the second round, which means they don't have to guarantee any money to him. But he can go, and if he pans out, that's probably one of the greatest picks in the second round in a long time. So I think that Imani going to the Cavs, I think it's a perfect situation, especially with what we've seen from the wings. They have a lack of wings, so he might be able to pan out. That might be a good sticking spot for him. I disagree with these guys are saying about Dame. for obvious reasons. We haven't seen the end of the Portland Trailblazers moves yet. It's still trade season, so we haven't seen what they may have up their sleeve. Especially guys like Chilltown saying Dame is double talking, but that's what he does every single day is double talk. But I don't hear double talking from them. I heard Dame say one thing: he wanted to compete to win a championship. He wanted them to compete to win a championship. That's what he said. So that's not double talking. That's him saying the same thing every single time. He never switched up what he said. And then to Donald, he was on here yesterday on his period talking about the Washington Wizards, and then voila, today the Washington Wizards not only have acquired Jordan Poole, who is now face of their franchise, and I thought it was a great move. You put him with Tyus Jones, who's young, who's a good steady point guard that knows how to get guys involved. You bring back Kuzma. Well, the Washington Wizards have done great things. They drafted pretty well last night. So you got two young guys that have already won championships under 30 years old. So you got that type of experience on your team with a heady point guard like Tyus Jones, the Wizards, and then they got 10 picks. They got 4 pick swaps in the first round, and they got 6 second-round picks in that deal. So I thought the Wizards did great, but Don was on here panicking on his period yesterday, and today we look, and the Wizards, they look like a whole 360, way better than what they looked 2 days ago from the moves they made. I think Jordan Poole turns into a super, at least he plays at a fringe all-star level this year. You see him put up around 29, 30 points a game. I think Kuzma resigns. And like I said, I like the team because you got two young guys that have NBA championship experience. They won championships when they were young. They understand how to win. And those are the building blocks for your organization going forward. I like that. If they can get a vet in there now, a real good vet, to come along, man, they might be able to do something like what Cleveland was supposed to do this year in the East. That's all I got to say right now.
Well, if we're talking about a guy in Damian Lillard, he's been consistent in his logic. Okay, so he's told us, he's come out and said, I don't want to be a part of a rebuild. He did say that. Is that not a fact?
Yeah, that's total fact.
He did say he did not want to be a part of a rebuild. But he also said he doesn't want to get traded. So if the Portland Trailblazers, who have obviously gone young, and they're obviously continuing to go young, what does that suggest? That they're rebuilding. So if he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild, what does that mean?
Well, sir, let me say this to you. Respectfully, we're not finished with trade season yet, so we don't know if they're going to flip who they pick. Maybe they didn't like a trade that they was going to get before the draft. Maybe a team comes to them afterwards with a better deal. They didn't rush to make a bad deal, so maybe they wait. Maybe now that we heard that Kawhi had surgery and he's going through this stuff again, maybe you can go get a deal over there with the Clippers done. Maybe you can go get a guy like Paul George for Anthony Simons. Maybe you can, get some more veteran guys over on that roster that can help. So I'm not complete. Like I said, yes, 2 days ago, Donald came on here and jumped the gun and was talking all this trash about Washington. I was on there and said,
what did I say? What did I say?
You trashed them.
No, what did I say? Don't tell me what I said.
I'm going to say what you said. You trashed them. You said you didn't know what they were doing over there in that organization. You said they were going nowhere. You said they got nothing in the Bradley Beal deal, and actually they did. You said you talked all this stuff without knowing all the facts, and I sat here and told you. I said, bro, they're not done yet. I said they look stupid and incompetent to you because you don't know what their plans are in the office. But obviously they had great plans because they flipped CP3. And what did they do with flipping CP3? They went and got a young guy that averaged 20 last year and has won a championship already. So you flip an old piece, you get that dude, you got 6 second-round picks, 4 first-round pick swaps, and then not only that, you go get Tyus Jones, who's a good point guard, could be a starting point guard on any team in the league. Chilltown was talking about that yesterday. Then you can bring back Kyle Kuzma, who had his career season last year with you guys, and he's a world champion too. So you got two guys that are under 30 years. You got 2 guys that are under 30 years old that are world champions that understand what it takes to win at that level. That's rare to get that on your team. You got a steady point guard who's a real professional who understands how to play. You understand who's able, like Chilltown said, to play inside of controversial situations because he did it every time in Memphis. Then with the Wizards, you still got other moves you can make. They drafted Will last night, so they still got other moves they can make. I like what the Wizards are doing.
But if Jordan Poole is who you say he is, Tiki, why would the Warriors let him go?
No. The Warriors let him go because you have to make a decision between winning now and winning in the future. Because when you think about a guy like Jordan Poole, the way he plays, you can't play like that right now with Steph Curry on the team. It's not going to work. This is the reason why you see him doing all this stuff, like going off the deep end in the playoffs. Like, during the regular
GG's, that's
season,
it.
it's cool
It's
because
over,
you
man.
cut back minutes and stuff, but during the
Damn.
postseason, Steph Curry's minutes is going up. That means somebody else's minutes is coming down, and Jordan Poole can't do what he wants to do. They didn't want to wait because they think that Steph Curry can do this for another 2 or 3 years. So they didn't want to wait with Poole and then potentially have situations like this going forward. So what they did was when they got another veteran who they feel like can take pressure off Steph Curry running a point, who understands time, possession, score, all this other stuff, and that can really help set guys up. I think that's a little better fit if he can stay healthy for what they want to do right now. They kind of want vets on the team that can help them win right now. I think that's the reason why you got off with Jordan Poole when you could. I thought that was a good move for both teams. And I'm going to say it again. With Dame, I take a wait and see approach to what I want to see what Portland does before we get to the season. Because if Dame is still there and they make because we ain't acting like trade season is over, they can't make a move. Right. They still make a move. I don't block my team sometimes for like everybody jumped on Rob Pelinka last year when he didn't hurry up and make a move. But you know what Rob Pelinka did? He played poker. You understand? And he held his hand until it was time to lay it out. Right. And so when he laid it out, he laid it out perfectly. And sometimes you can't take the first things that come to you. Sometimes you got to say, okay, now we got Scoop. You understand? Maybe you're going to summer league. If Scoop kills in summer league, or he makes himself look good enough to another team, maybe like the Clippers, who say, man, you know what, we need to come off these pieces because, again, yesterday they just reported Kawhi had surgery again. They say he's going to be out for 2 months, but we know Kawhi, when they say 2, that means 6 to 8, plus he's going to load manage during the next season. At least. If you're the Clippers, now maybe you thinking even inclining more. Let me go get a young guy like Anthony Simon. Let me go get maybe a nerd from one of those guys. I'm not going to move off of one of these other dudes. You understand what I'm saying? So, Noosa, my bad. So, my whole thing is this. They're still not done willing and dealing yet. So, I'm going to wait. There's still a lot of trades left to be done in the NBA. Just because it didn't happen before the draft don't mean that it can't happen. Right. And Dane Collins is going to be silent until we get closer to the season and see what the moves is like. So, I'm going to wait and see what the final moves is like. And then if they haven't done anything, then listen, guess what? I'm still going to sit up here and say, Dame got to stand in it because of what he said. Right. He the one that was running his mouth to guys about jumping the ship, jumping teams to go win a championship. So now, if you're dealing with a team who did this to you, based off what you said, you got to deal with the consequences. And one more thing, they brought up something very important last night in that draft night. And I don't know if y'all saw Windhorse say this. Bro, even though they moved Jordan Poole over to the Wizards, that might not be a guarantee that they keep Draymond because Sacramento has the money to pay Draymond Green the max right now. And they said he's very close with Mike Brown. So I do see Sacramento Kings as if Draymond goes to the Kings, he makes them they lack what he brings. That toughness he brings, they lack that. And
so you know, Tone. Yes, he is. Yes, he is, Tone. Yes, he is doing that.
So they traded the guy punched in the face, and they're going to sign the guy they stomped in the head.
I'm saying what they're talking about. I'm saying what before.
We're not going to spend our cap space on Draymond Green.
You did make a really valid point. You did make a really valid point about the Trailblazers not being done. Ticket. That is fact. They're not done. However, what have we seen from the Trailblazers over the last couple of years with them not being done? Number one, they end up signing Hassan Whiteside in free agency, right? They end up signing Jeremy Grant in free agency. This is the stuff that they're doing. They had Simons already on their crew who they could have dangled in a trade to get Paul George, to get something substantial. They didn't do that. In fact, they're going after guys like Jeremy Grant. They're going after guys like Hassan Whiteside. They're going after guys like.
I'm saying you talking about last season? No, I'm saying when you say trade Anthony Simon, I'm saying, are you saying last season trade Anthony Simon?
They have pieces like Anthony Simon to dangle to get a substantial piece. But instead, what they do with guys like Anthony Simon is they tucking him away and they developing him. That's why they draft Scoot. So they draft Scoot, and these two guys are going to be the future. So the Portland Trailblazers, which you just said, Ticket, which does make a lot of sense, that they aren't done, but they haven't shown me anything to suggest that they're going to do anything to build around Dame to make him viable for them to win.
Well, hold on. I disagree. First thing they did was they went and got you a head coach who's a world champion, and Chauncey Billups and a great mind. So they got off of Terry Scott. Hold on. They got off of Terry Scott, who was going nowhere fast every year. Lost the locker room, same thing. They went and got Chauncey Billups. To me, Chauncey Billups is a solid coach who's going to preach both ends of the court and is going to slowly develop that team. I've seen development in the younger guys in that team. Also, they drafted another guard last night, which lets me know they're probably getting ready to trade one of those guards, like Anthony Simons. That's why I say you got to watch back when you say stuff, because you never know what a team's next move is, because they got a lot of guards on the team now, which lets you know they're not going to keep all those guards. And then you keep Anthony Simons. Why? Because early in his career, he wasn't playing the way he's playing now. The way he's playing now, his trade value has soared. So now when you can use him in a trade, you can actually get back a good return based on what you got a couple years ago when he was nowhere near the level that he played last year. So I think they did a good job in tucking him away, building up his stock, and now being able to package him with one of those other guys. And last thing, Jeremy Grant. That was a great signing when they got Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant is a two-way player, and I kind of see him in the eyes of a guy like Aaron Gordon, who just went over there and helped the Denver Nuggets win a championship. So I think he's a real good group of.
It was a good sign. But I think Joe's point is that if you look at overall all their signings, they haven't really done anything that moves the needle. And I wanted to go back for a second to Washington, because Damo yesterday said that based on what they have today, that roster looks horrible. And I agreed with you, Damo, because it did look horrible. But now they flipped Paul for Poole. That still doesn't move the needle either. They're still going to suck. Right? I'm sorry, I like Jones, but Jones and Poole as your backcourt no one's scared of that. No one's thinking, oh, championship. They're still a team that's not going to make the play-in. So, yes, they've got better than they were yesterday. They're better than they were yesterday, but they're still a terrible team. Portland, they're still a terrible team. I'm sorry. They got young, but they're not going to be good. They're not going to compete in the West. So it's just like, you're right, Ticket. You made a very good point. They're not done yet. So it's going to really depend on what these guys do next in terms of trades and free.
Totally.
Because they can screw them.
But I totally disagree with what you said about not compete. Let's be honest. They were competing, and they were number 1 and number 2 in the West last year until Dane got hurt. So in the first 30 games of the season, they were one of the top 2 teams in the West last year until Dane Dollar got hurt. You guys forget that. They were killing in the West. The first 30 games, they were second in the West until Dane got hurt after the first 30 games. Then he got hurt and missed all that time, and Anthony Simons had to take over, and then they couldn't hold forward. And then Dane came back, and by that time they fell off the rails later on in the season because they were in the playoffs. They just kept dropping. You guys got to remember that. So yes, they were.